Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here to your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network here on YouTube.com. Again, as always, I'm play-by-play broadcaster Brandon Morvillius. Alongside here with me is cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy, back here with our 2025 IHSAA Class 2A North Semi-State preview show here this evening. Pretty much as always, we're going to be breaking down the stats, giving you the latest information on all four of these teams, including Wapahani, heading into the 2A North Semi-State, in which you get this time of the year. Not only is it an exciting time of the year, but you're getting the very, very best of the state of Indiana. When it comes to boys basketball, it was a tough challenge last week there with your Wapahani Raiders claiming victory there over Western Boone in a tight one in which the Raiders were down majority of the ball game. Really couldn't find their niche there on the offensive side of the basketball. Defense was still very good, but the Raiders really dug deep and got the job done. And you're going to have games like that sometimes where things really aren't necessarily always clicking on all cylinders, but you still find ways to win. That's what great teams do. And that's exactly what Wapahani did this past Saturday there against Western Boone there in the Lapel Regional. So we will go ahead and take a look here at the 2025 IHSAA 2A North Semi-State boys basketball tournament bracket here this evening. So obviously you see right there the very first game there on Saturday. That's on March the 22nd. It will be an 11 a.m. Eastern time start time. So for those of you that are staying back here in Selma, or right here in Raider Country, it will be at 11 a.m. For those of you traveling to the game will start at 10 a.m. Because we will be on Central Daylight Savings Time. So Eastern time, obviously here, will be in Central Time Zone up there in Michigan City there at the Wolves Den. So Gary 21st Century Cougars taking on your Wapahani Raiders. Again, that will be a 11 a.m. start time here in the eastern part of Indiana, while up there in Michigan City we will start at 10 a.m. again there for the Central Time Zone. The second game there on Saturday will be at 1 p.m. That will be taking on, we'll have the Manchester Squires taking on the Jimtown Jimmies. Again, that will be a 1 p.m. Eastern start time, 12 p.m. Central Time. Then with the semi-state championship game being played at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Again, that will be between the winner of the Gary 21st Century Wapahani game, as they will be taking on the winner of Manchester and Jimtown there in that North Semi-State Championship game. So that's what things look like there from that standpoint. And I'll tell you, as I just mentioned, you're going to get the very best out of all these teams. They're there for a reason. They're very good. Gary 21st Century, when we break down these teams here in just a moment, you'll kind of get a better understanding why they're so good, but also some of their tendencies and, how we can potentially overcome what the Cougars might throw at us coming up there on Saturday morning. So we'll start off here with your Wapahani Raiders, 26-1 record on the season. The winner there of the Lapel Regional there this past Saturday. And, when you look here at the Raiders statistically, the Raiders averaging 62 points a game on offense. They're allowing 42 points a game. They're on the defensive end. 23.4 rebounds a game, 14 assists per game, as well as 6 steals and turnover at a rate of 5.7 times per ball game. They are 607 of 1,171, good for 52% from the field. From downtown, they are 307 of 652, 47%. And from the free throw line, they're 150 of 191, good for 79%. Again, we won't be breaking down the player stats, but that's just some team stats to go over there for your Wapahani Raiders coming up there leading into Saturday's matchup there with Gary 21st Century. Speaking of which, the Gary 21st Century Cougars, 20-6 on the season coming into Saturday afternoon's matchup. Team stats here, Gary 21st Century can get it done on both ends of the floor here, folks. Averaging 71.3 points per game on offense, allowing 52.5 points per game on the defensive side of the ball. Rebounding at a rate of 29 rebounds per game, 16.9 assists per game, 13.5 steals per game, and turn it over at a rate of 10.7 times per ball game from the field. The Cougars are 752 of an astonishing 1,554 shots, good for 49%. Three-pointers, they're 127 of 418, good for 30%. And then lastly, at the free throw line, the Cougars are 219 of 340, good for 64%. Now, players to really watch for here. Again, we don't know these guys. We don't play them. We're at that time of the year where, again, we're going to be seeing different teams that we normally would not see throughout the course of the regular season. So first and foremost, we're going to start off here with a 6'1" guard, number 1, Terrence Hayes. The leading scorer here for the Cougars on the season, averaging 20.7 points per game, 7.6 rebounds, 5.8 assists, and 3.5 steals per game, as well as 2.4 blocks per game. Again, this is coming in as a 6'1" guard player. He's 206 of 382, good for 54% from the field. 39 of 104, 38% from downtown, and 86 of 113, 76% there from the free throw line. It's number 1, Terrence Hayes. Next up, we have 6'4" forward, number 15, Demetrius Williams. He's averaging 15.6 points per game, 9.9 rebounds, as well as 4.7 assists and 3.3 steals per game. When you look here at Demetrius, averaging 161 of a 315, 51% there from the field. Also 17 of 60, 28% from downtown, and 51 of 88, 58% there from the free throw line. So again, that is number 15, Demetrius Williams. Next is number 10, Ryan Mosley, a 5'7" guard here for the Cougars, averaging 10.6 points per ball game as well as 1.2 rebounds. He's 41% from the field, 110 of 271, also 27 of 102, good for 26% there from beyond the three-point line, and 19 of 30, 63% from the charity stripe. Next up here we have 6'1" guard number 12, Jacoby Donaldson, averaging 9.7 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and 2.1 steals per game. He is 100 of 204, good for 49% there from the field. 16 of 59, good for 27% from downtown. And 36 of 47, 77% there from the free throw line. There again is 6'1" guard number 12, Jacoby Donaldson. And then the last couple of young men right here. We'll start off here with 6'1" guard number 32, Elijah Mosaic, averaging 8 points a game, 4.1 rebounds. He's 97 of 178, 54% there from the field. Not known for his three-point shooting, so he's 14 of 33, 42% there from the free throw line. There is Elijah Mosaic. Again, he is number 32 there for the Cougars. And then lastly, we have a big man right here, 6'8" forward, number 33, Caleb Young, average of 7.8 points per game, 3.5 rebounds. Really not a guy that plays much. He's only played 4 games, and those have come right here in a state tournament. But, he uses his frame well. He's 6'8". I think, right around 275, 300 pounds. He's a football player, but he's a big, bulky young man that, when he's in a game, you will definitely notice his presence. Again, primarily not in the starting lineup, which, again, is very astonishing considering the size, coming in there at 6'8". He's quite the dominant force when he's in there. But, limited playing time. We'll see if that ends up being the case there coming up on Saturday. But, again, all those guys, Terrence Hayes, Demetrius Williams, Ryan Mosley, Jacoby Donaldson, and then Elijah Mosaic right there is the primary guys that you really have got to focus in on right here when you look here at this Gary 21st Century Cougars basketball team. Now, breaking them down a little bit more here, I went through, looked at some game film here on Gary 21st Century. Again, I'm no basketball guru. I know my stuff, yes, and I know what I'm looking for. I know, kind of in a roundabout way where the trouble spots might be with different teams as far as defensively, offensively, what could pose a threat to Wapahani. And so that's what I kind of look for when I go over some of this game film. I did look at 2 games. One of those was against their latest opponent there for Gary 21st Century when they won the regional championship there at North Judson, when they took down the Fort Wayne Lures, and how really, I mean, this team, again, statistically, they're not the greatest three-point shooting team. They do have guys that can hit the three-point shot. Terrence Hayes, you have Williams, and then Mosley. Your primary three-point threats. But really, they don't shoot the ball as a team anyway all that well from beyond the three-point line. It's a whole other different ball game. I read the stat there just a moment ago. They're 752 of 1,544 from the field. So that means from inside the arc, they're shooting 1,126 shots inside the three-point line. Now, when you look at Wapahani, we're shooting, we're 607 of 1,171 from the field. So we're just a little over, it was 519 shots that we've shot inside the three-point line. That's a drastic difference. And not only that, we've played one more game than Gary 21st Century, but they've nearly shot 400 more shots than us. But again, the primary thing there with Gary 21st Century, they love attacking the rim, and they do it very, very well. There's a reason why they score 70, a little over 71 points a game, and they're 20-6 on the year. This team plays a very, very tough and grueling schedule, and they play against teams that are tall, very athletic, and they're built that same way. But again, look to dribble, drive, attack the rim. They're very physical, and they love to get to the free throw line. So what Wapahani's got to do defensively, which again, granted, it's a lot easier said than done. We've got to close off everything essentially inside the arc. We've got to make them shoot the basketball, folks. I mean, it's plain and simple as that. Now, can they go out there and shoot it and hit it? Absolutely, they can. Anything can happen any given ball game. We've seen that against Western Boone. Going into that game, Western Boone statistically was not a very good three-point shooting team, and they had a very good day at the office from beyond the arc there this past Saturday. So again, it's just that situation that arises. When you play against really good teams, that anything is possible. Anything's possible with us too. We can catch fire quick, fast, and in a hurry. But, when you look at this Gary 21st Century team, they love living on the inside. They love being able to attack the rim, and they love getting the opponent in foul trouble. It's going to be extremely, extremely important, especially for our bigs. They were Brock Zitgraff and Eli Andrews, to make sure that we keep those guys out of foul trouble. Because if not, then we're going to be in a very tough situation. Now, obviously, you don't want to get anybody in foul trouble. I don't care if it's Camden or Nate or Logan or Leighton or whoever the heck it is. It doesn't make a difference. You don't want any of our guys in foul trouble. But that's what they look to do. They're, like I said, they're very aggressive. They're very physical. They aren't exactly really tall. Other than they're the 6'8" big man there in Caleb Young. Outside of that, their tallest guy is 6'4", and that is Demetrius Williams. Everybody else is right around 6'1" or shorter. And so height necessarily isn't an issue, but they're very versatile. Like I said, they're very quick, and they make their rounds out there on the floor. They're looking to turn you over very quickly, and they're looking to push it up floor and get an easy lay-in. And so that's where, again, just another part of the game of basketball, we've got to make sure we take good care of the basketball there on the offensive end. So, again, I think the biggest thing for us defensively, again, close off the post area. Make them shoot from outside. Make them shoot from outside the 3-point line. You know, they can still hit that mid-range jumper. You know, that right there on the wing, or an elbow shot, free throw line, you know, whatever the case might be. They can still knock some of those down. But, you know, we've got to get a hand in the face. You know, we can't have these guys just go in uncontested or taking uncontested shots. You know, but we want to extend their game outward. You know, the further out, you know, and I talk about it all the time, your higher percentage shots on the inside. And we see that here with Gary 21st Century. That's where they like to exploit their opponent and get them in foul trouble. And so we've got to take care of business there defensively. And then on the offensive side of the ball, you know, again, you know, we're going to be facing a team that, you know, kind of mixes things up a little bit. They play a little 2-3 zone. Then they also will revert to a little 1-2-2. And then, at least from what I've seen, you know, from a full court pressure wise, then they will do what they call a 2-2-1. So they'll have two guys on the low blocks or wherever, you know, the opposing team is setting up to get the ball inbounded. They'll have two guys right there, then maybe another two guys at half court, or maybe a little bit further there in the front court. And then you'll have one guy all the way back near the free throw line on the other side of the floor. And so they like to do that. They do like to trap the basketball. So, again, you know, we've got to be quick. But with that being said, we've got to be under control. This is, you know, Wapahani is a team that, you know, when you look at us statistically, we take good care of the basketball. We've got to maintain that same type of style of play coming up this Saturday and from here on out. Because they love and they feed off of turnovers, and really the opposing teams is being clueless out there on the floor. We've seen that with the Lures when I watched that game film. They were just a little careless with the basketball, and Gary 21st Century just fed off of that and got open layups numerous times on the other end of the floor. So that's one thing we have to avoid. Again, just throwing some things out there. You know, we've just got to be smart. Take good care of the basketball. You know, it's really plain and simple as that. You know, that's a lot easier said than done. I understand that. But if we want to get anywhere, we have got to play our A game from a shooting aspect, from a ball handling aspect, from a defensive aspect, rebounding aspect. You know, I mean, like I said, I mean, they are physical and they have a lot of versatility. You get a butt in them, you block them out, and make them climb over your back to get the rebound. And, you know, if we do that, then hopefully everybody else will do their job thereafter. But you first and foremost have to take care of the things that you have to take care of. You know, and that's all you can control. And then lastly right here, on the offensive end, you know, going back to what I was talking about with them, what they do defensively, Gary 21st Century, again, plays 2-3 zone action. I would be aggressively, and I know I talk about this all the time, I would be going at the rim every possession. You know, find a way to, you know, to have that entry feed into Brock Zitgraff or maybe a Camden Bell or an Eli Andrews right there around the free throw line, or you know, that mid range between the 3-point line and the rim. You know, and work your way down. But with that, and I've seen this, I'm not kidding you, every single possession, they are looking to block shots like it's their job, you know, like it's the only job that they have. We fake them up in the air, so ball fakes are going to be our friend, or shot fakes are going to be our friend. We do that, we're going to get them up in the air, then you just go right up into them and you know, let's draw fouls. We'll get them into foul trouble all day long, but at least, again, from what I've seen, it was like that on a consistent basis with them defensively. You know, they're looking to get the ball back by any means necessary, whether that's by stealing the ball or blocking shots. Again, you know, they do have that versatility. Fake them up, you know, make sure that you know, we're not going up on the very first try. You know, get a pass fake, you know, to get the ball inside, then shot fake them up and get them up into the air and go up into them. You know, let's hit that layup. Let's go to the free throw line. You know, I think that we would be very good for having numerous 3-point plays coming up on Saturday. And that's exactly what I would personally do. again, that's just me. I'm not proclaiming to know a lot, but just from looking at what they do defensively, I would be hammering it inside every possession, going towards the rim, and like I said, going with a shot fake. So that's Gary 21st Century. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much, and hopefully that gave you guys some information to kind of chew on the next day and a half, 2 days. But we're pumped. Redbeard and I are definitely excited about this ball game here. And, I know a lot of people were saying, this is going to be a really tough game. I think it's a very winnable game. And I'm not just saying that because we broadcast for Wapahani or anything like that. I truly, honestly mean that wholeheartedly. I thoroughly and truly believe that Wapahani has the necessary assets on this team to be able to win that first game and win the second game, because that's what we're there for. We're there for 2 games and to win 2 games. That's that's the goal out of all this. But you got to win the first game, and it's going to be a dogfight, but it's very winnable. But we have got to bring our A game coming up there on Saturday morning. So now we'll go ahead and send things on over here to Redbeard. Again, he's going to be talking about the Manchester Squires and the Jimtown Jimmies.
Yeah, thanks, Marv. Yeah, we'll start with the Manchester Squires. They come in with a record of 23-2 on the year. As a team, they average 68.8 points a game while giving up 43.6. They get 29 rebounds a game, 15.6 assists a game. They steal it 12 times a game, turn it over 9 times a game. From the field, they're 640 of 1274, good for 50%. From the three-point line, they're 145 of 422, good for 34%. And from the free throw line, they're 256 of 381, good for 67%. Now some players to watch for. We'll start with 6'7" forward, number 11, Gavin Bitton. 26 points a game, 11 rebounds per game, 4.3 assists per game. He steals it 3.4 times a game and gets 3 blocks per game. From the field, he's 248 of 383, good for 65%. He's 10 of 32 from the three-point line, good for 31%. And he's 147 of 208, good for 71% from the free throw line. Next, we have Ethan Hendricks. He's a 5'8 guard, number 5, 17.9 points per game, 3.7 rebounds per game, 4.1 assists per game, and 3.2 steals per game. From the field, he's 167 of 334, good for 50%. He's 46 of 118 from the three-point line, 39%. And from the free throw line, he's 67 of 100, good for 67%. Next, we have Talon Torpy. He's a 6'1 guard, number 33, 9.4 points per game, 3 rebounds a game, and 2.6 assists per game. From the field, he's 89 of 203, good for 44%. From the three-point line, he's 40 of 115, good for 35%. And from the free throw line, he's 18 of 31, good for 58%. Next, we have 6'1 guard, number 24, Caleb Klein, 4.4 points per game and 1.6 rebounds per game. From the field, he's 39 of 87, good for 45%. From the three-point line, he's 32 of 73, good for 44%. And from the free throw line, he's 0 of 4. Next, we have the Jimtown Jimmies. They come in at 16-10 on the year. As a team, they score 51.9 points per game while giving up 45.8. They get 24.3 rebounds a game, 10.4 assists, and 8.2 steals a game. They turn it over 12.1 times a game as well. From the field, they're 503 of 1,185, good for 42%. From the three-point line, they're 147 of 474, good for 31%. And from the free throw line, they're 191 of 303, good for 63%. Now some players to watch. First, we'll start with 6'7" forward, number 34, Brandon King, 17.4 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, and 2 assists per game. From the field, he's 169 of 351, good for 48%. From the three-point line, he's 31 of 96, good for 32%. From the free throw line, he's 67 of 93, good for 72%. Next, we have Dylan Fay. He's a 6'4 guard. He's also number 10. 11.1 points per game and 5.4 rebounds per game. From the field, he's 76 of 187, good for 41%. From the three-point line, he's 34 of 100, good for 34%. And from the free throw line, he's 36 of 53, good for 68%. Next, we have Will Spurgeon. He's a 6-foot guard, number 20, 9.3 points per game and 2-point steals a game. From the field, he's 85 of 220, good for 39%. From the three-point line, he's 38 of 120, good for 32%. And from the free throw line, he's 35 of 47 and good for 74%. And finally, 6-foot guard number 24, Jaden Jackson, 8.4 points per game, 3.4 rebounds per game, and 3 assists per game. From the field, he's 80 of 147 and good for 54%. From the three-point line, he's 5 of 20, good for 25%. And from the free throw line, he's 19 of 51, good for 37%.
Okay, so thank you, Redbeard. Again, breaking down the Manchester Squires as well as the Jimtown Jimmy. So that will be the second game there on Saturday. So again, the first game, Gary 21st Century Cougars taking on your Wapahoney Raiders. That will be at a 11 a.m. Eastern time start time. So it will be 10 a.m. Eastern or 10 a.m. Central there for us at Michigan City. Again, we're making the trip up there tomorrow. I know we talked about, we was like, man, we don't want to get up 4 or 5 in the morning here and head north. So we're going to leave tomorrow afternoon and make the trip up there to the Wolves' Den. And really expecting, like I said, 2 wins coming up on Saturday. We have one very, very big game to start off, though. You can't count your chickens before they hatch. But you have to go in positive. If you go in with a negative attitude about this, you're halfway to defeat, in my honest opinion. As I just mentioned a few moments ago, I think, in all honesty, that first game against Gary 21st Century is a very winnable game. And again, I'm not sitting here, just trying to be confident. I'm being serious. I am being confident, but I'm being serious about this. But again, it's going to take everything that we have and then some to be able to come up with that victory in the first game. And then you play the second game, and you're going to be in store for another excruciating tough battle there between, whether if it's Manchester or Jimtown. Again, all of these teams are here for a reason. You're getting their very best. These are very good teams. It's not like, you're playing a team that's 0-24. Or that's 5-21 on the season. These are very, very good teams, and it's we're expecting a very tough battle. No matter who we play, where we play, the rest of the way. But we're hopeful here for your Wapahoney Raiders. Again, you can catch it live. They're on the. I'll tell you what, this is a beautiful segue right here. That website down there, that's where you can find the ball game here, folks. But here's the catch. It is audio only for us on the broadcast. So Redbeard, he's not going to have to do anything coming up there on Saturday except for hoop, holler, woo, and everything else. While you have me over there, oh, heck yes, all day long, hopefully for Wapahoney Raiders. And but it's going to be audio only. We'll still have all the graphics on the screen, the scoreboard, the whole bit. There just will be no video because the IHSAA has exclusive video rights. They will be there broadcasting the game. They'll have some team there broadcasting the game there on Saturday, but that will be for a cost to be able to watch that game. For our audio-only broadcast, as always, it is free. It will not cost you a dime. And I know, you and I was talking earlier because I've had several people already ask me about it, if we was doing a game and if we was going to have video, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, no, we don't have video, but we will have the audio of it. So a pretty good amount of people that I've talked to, they've already said they're going to purchase the game through the IHSAATV.org, and then on the next tab, they'll just go to our broadcast and listen to me broadcast the game while watching the IHSAA's video feed. I would love for if you guys wanted to go that route, go ahead. If you just want to listen to our broadcast with a scoreboard on it, then please join us. We want to see you over there. I know it's a long drive. It's about a 3-hour drive between here and Michigan City where we're playing. But I know the Raider faithful will be out there, and I know that there's a lot of people that won't be there that's still rooting for the team. This is still the way that you can find our broadcast. Now, again, if you go to IHSAATV.org, you can find the game on there, but you have to pay for it. Now, the cost for those games, it's $12 for one game or $20 for every single game in the whole entire state. it doesn't take rocket science there. I would go ahead and pay the $20, get every single ball game, because then at the end of the day, you're, if, again, assuming, hopefully Wapahani does win that first game, then you're going to have to pay another $12 to watch the second game. So you're going to end up paying $24 to watch 2 games when you can pay to watch, pay $20 to watch 24. So, like I said, that kind of, you do the math, and, you get your greatest bang for your buck by just paying the $20 for every single ball game. So, again, you can go to IHSAATV.org to watch that game. But, again, we highly encourage you to watch that, but listen to me broadcast, because I think that we'll bring a lot of excitement coming up there on Saturday morning there from Michigan City. So, again, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. We hope to see you all there coming up on Saturday morning and Saturday evening from the Wolves Den there in Michigan City, Indiana. So, again, it's been our 2025 IHSAA Class 2A North Semi-State Boys Basketball Tournament Preview Show here this evening. Again, as always, I'm Brandon Morvillius alongside cameraman Jordan Redbeard McCoy. We'll see you all next time here on your home of the Raiders, the WHS Network.